back. Adrian Dunn joins us, TVN, using Adrian now for covering all the news. And it's fair to say, Adrian, as we say good morning to you, there's been a bit about.
There has been, Bruce, and good morning to you, and it's great to be aboard the TVN juggernaut.
All right, we'll get to all the news, but Sal Perna, Victorian Racing Industry Integrity Commissioner, joins us. Sal, thanks for your time on a Sunday. You've had a busy month wrapping up your own inquiry. Before I just get to that, when you opened this inquiry, you said you did so on the basis of you were concerned about the image of Victorian racing. In the last week, the image of Victorian racing certainly has been not helped, tarnished by an inquiry at RVL. How do you sit now with where it's all at?
Morning, Bruce. It was. The inquiry was always a bit of a testing ground to see exactly what response we'd get, what reaction we would get for both the participants and the public. And it's fair to say that we've had a steady stream. We've had probably 50 contacts over that 1 month. We closed the inquiry formally last Friday week, so the 14th of September, but we're still getting bits and pieces coming in through then. Okay. And of course there's been plenty happening which has kept the interest up since then. No,
in last week's inquiry it was revealed that Dan Nikolic wrote to you a couple of years ago with his concerns about a relationship with Terry Bailey. Can you expand on what happened there?
Yeah, part of my role, Bruce, is to take complaints about the racing industry, and Danny wrote expressing that he didn't feel that the way the inquiry was conducted was correct, and I had a look into that and made some recommendations as a result of that.
Were they acted upon?
Yeah, they were. The major complaints about not being afforded natural justice weren't substantiated, but there were other aspects such as double serving on race days that were.
Sal, looking at the last month or so and what's happened in Victorian racing, from your point of view, what has been more damaging to the image of racing in Victoria? The very public race fixing scandal that is ongoing and seems to be dragging out, or another inquiry between, an investigation and some serious allegations between one of our leading Group 1 jockeys and the chief steward? It's been a horrible PR situation, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's captured public imagination. I didn't expect it to get that much interest, to be honest. The general interest I've got is from racing participants, and of course they're the ones that really feel aggrieved when the brand gets damaged. I guess time will tell whether there's been any rationale behind their anger, concerns or whatever. We've got a fair bit to sift through, but hopefully we can do that over the next month.
I suppose, Sal, a question that needs to be asked is, has your inquiry led to the conclusion that there is any race fixing in Victoria?
Yeah, it's too early, Adrian, for that, because a lot of the information that we've received has been referred either to Racing Victoria or to the police. I'm not across all the information the police have, for example, and they'll need to put that together and let me know whether it was any value or not. There
were some allegations drawn last month that there was 3 or 4 races in question. Is there any validity in those allegations?
Yeah, I'm not going to specify what sort of races we've had identified, but you can imagine, the disparity or the breadth of information we've had. We've had callers tell us, have a look at the 1969 Melbourne Cup Day and check the stable hand, and you'll find that there's something there, across to people who've spent probably days putting pages of information together.
Has there been any, when you say racing participants, do you mean actually licensed people, or do you just mean regular punters?
No, I mean licensed people.
Have you directed them at all to the stewards, or?
Yeah, anybody that is what I consider of value either to Racing Victoria or to VicPol have been referred on.
You wrote to Tony Mockbell, who's away for some time for offences, obviously. Were you flying a kite there, or hoping that he might be able to assist your inquiry?
I was legitimately doing that. I didn't do it for any other less obvious reason. I just felt whenever anybody talks about criminal activity in racing, 8 out of 10 times Tony's name comes up, and I just thought it was worth testing. I don't know whether he was going to ever say yes or no, but I wanted to test that. So the verbal approach went out, and now there's a more formal approach with a letter just saying to him that the invitation still stands, and if he feels that he'd like to talk to me, I'd be happy to go down there.
Sal, the collaboration between police and stewards has been something that's come out of this investigation inquiry.
Yep.
the obvious shortfalls in that process, how can we address that so that there is a better sharing of information?
Yep, and that's a very good question. The inquiry is really aiming to do two things. One is to look at the race fixing issue specifically, but then the broader aspects. And one of those broader aspects is the relationship with exchange of information between law enforcement and both my office and Racing Victoria. The police situation is fairly clear. They're prohibited by certain legislation to give certain information out. There's not much that can be done about that. But there's other aspects that could be done, I think, better. And I think police have been very open about stating that they could do some things differently.
And as an extension to that, sharing of information with betting agencies, Betfair and corporate bookmakers, how do you see that sitting at the moment?
Yeah, not so much, because the relationship with the wagering providers and racing, excuse me, and myself has always been very good. And that's not been an issue up to date.
Sal, are you comfortable as Victoria's Racing Integrity Commissioner that someone high up in RVL would contact the Victorian Jockeys CEO, Des O'Keefe, and deliver the comment that racing is better off in Victoria without Daddy Nikolic? Is that an appropriate behaviour?
Yeah, no, I'm not across that yet, and I've stayed clear of that until that's all resolved.
So what is your process now? You said you've got a couple of leads to follow up, or leads or investigations to complete. What might we see come, or is there a time frame of anything, Sal?
Yeah, I haven't set a date because it's really difficult to try to estimate the value of the information. So I've probably got another week or so to talk to people that have provided information, to follow up on the information, to tease it out a bit further. Then I've got meetings with Racing Victoria and Victoria Police to see what value the information was, and at the end of that then I'll start preparing a report. So we're probably, I guess, 4 weeks away, something like that.
Okay, well, thank you for your time. I've got a busy afternoon. Got to go to the footy, Sal.
Absolutely. One of my other hats is the VFL Tribunal. I'm looking forward to the game.
Well, if there's any issues in those games, I can report also to let you know there's any rorts going on down there at Port Melbourne v Geelong this afternoon.